Myself and my business partner Adrian Loader formed PMC in 1991. I came from the BBC. I worked at BBC Radio, working in the music studios. Adrian worked for a big distributor that supplied tape machines, high-end microphones and turntables back then. And we wanted to develop a product for our own use, but also we had a demand from our business side to develop our speaker for music studios. PMC currently is based, its head office in Biggleswade in Bedfordshire in Britain. We employ 50 people here. This is where all the sales and marketing and research centre is. And we also have a big manufacturing plant over in Luton. We also have a distribution company based in Los Angeles to sell throughout Hollywood. We also have an office in Nashville for the large number of studios there, and also an office in New York. Then we have a whole range of distributors in 50 other countries that we distribute to. So quite a large network, and it's quite getting more difficult to get them all together now because we're such a big group of people. Over the years that you're designing products in a company, you do incremental changes. You discover new techniques, you add them to your products, but you reach a point where maybe a particular design has gone as far as you can take it, and you have to kind of go back to a blank piece of paper and start again. And fenestria was that.
The goal for fenestria was to really change the perception of PMC in the high-end audio market. Our heritage is very much from a professional monitoring, perhaps a very robust-looking loudspeaker, but fenestria really changed that. It's a design-led product and really showcases our excellence in engineering. Peter tasked the R&D team to produce a loudspeaker without any constraints on price or time.
One of the problems if you start adding little elements into an existing design is that you may not see the benefit from that particular improvement. In any speaker design, to be able to get the best performance from the whole system, every element has to be equal. They all have to be raised in performance. For example, putting a drive unit in an old cabinet, it may be a better drive unit, but you may not extract that performance. One of the most logical places to start with speaker design is at the bottom end, the bass end. It's a logical place to start because our ears listen to the whole balance of the speaker, and the bass sets that reference level for everything else that our ears appreciate.
Through the development of the fenestria product, we went through 4 stages of diaphragm design to really perfect the woofer. So the first thing we did to improve the stiffness was add a layer of carbon fibre to the front and back. This really improved the diaphragm, but we wanted to go further. We changed the core from a honeycomb to a foam. This improved the damping of the product to remove any unwanted resonances and improve the breakup performance. The next thing we found that this diaphragm was too heavy. We wanted to get the sensitivity nice and high, and despite the carbon fibre, the previous design was still too heavy. We changed the core to a different grade of foam, and we also made the carbon fibre much thinner. When they lacquer this diaphragm, we found that the lacquer was too heavy, so we put the lacquer on and sponge it off to get the absolute minimum on the diaphragm. The final product is only 13 grams. It's very stiff, very light and well damped.
So in this design we decided that we would mount the mid-range and the high frequency unit in what we call the nest, which floats in the middle of the fenestria. This effectively means that those drive units are looking as if they're in a very, very small cabinet, a very narrow cabinet, which always improves the dispersion of the speaker into the room. To complement that performance, we took our traditional 3-inch dome mid-range and spent about a year developing a new version. One of the big developments was we bored out the centre of the pole inside the mid-range and put a large chamber behind it. What this did was reduce distortion by a real significant level again to produce a really open, sweet, detailed mid-range. So the whole nest now is floating on isolation mounts. So it totally decouples the mid-range from the bass units. And we found that that opened up the mid-range a huge amount. And then we took that technique further and we realised that if we mounted the tweeter on isolation mounts as well, then we opened up that mid and top end even further by taking away all that interactive vibration. The heart of the fenestria is the crossover. We've also applied to that the anti-vibration system that we've applied to the mid and top. It's mounted on isolation platforms inside the plinth at the bottom of the speaker. There are many techniques to reduce vibration in cabinets, and we chose the wings as the method of reducing those vibrations. These are mass-weighted panels that are connected to the main chassis of the fenestria via rubber mounts. These vibrate against the vibrations in the cabinet, reducing the overall vibration of the whole system. The wings effectively eliminate the sound of the cabinet.
Fenestria was 5 years in development, but for us, we learnt about the project just a few days before the Munich high-end unveiling. It was a total surprise, a total shock, but it really even changed our perception of what PMC are capable of.
The best way to describe the fenestria is realism. You really feel that you're in the room with the performers. You feel that you can look round them, look above them, below them. You can almost hear them breathing. In 25 years of designing speakers, it's hard to find something that really makes you go, wow. And the fenestria is that product for me. When I sit down and listen to it, things seem much more natural, real in the room, and I just enjoy my music more, and that's what I can only hope for.